right off the bat. Oh, wait, I think we might have one. Yes! We hit one! Our first... Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is really incredible. What I have here is a normal ball python and a pretty cool purple ball python. This normal ball python is about 40 bucks. This snake is worth over $5,000. But what's the difference between the two of them? I want to start off by saying that really the difference between a beautiful snake like this piebald ball python and this really just wild type normal ball python is really just the paint job, right? It's just the fact that they look a little bit different genetically. But I'll get a little bit more into the genetics and what causes a snake to be worth $40 as opposed to thousands of dollars. And it really has a handful of things. The rarity of the animal, but also the demand of that particular animal. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. And before I get into all of it, I want to kind of tell you guys that I don't really look at value of animals anymore. You know, I mean, I basically was a snake breeder for many, many years and still do, don't get me wrong. But now I don't really look at animals and put a real value on them. Some of my favorite animals really are probably pretty common, but I wanted to really break down for you guys so you understand the difference between why things are sometimes cheap and why things are sometimes expensive. Let's go ahead and start with demand. For whatever reason, clown ball pythons are in high demand. This is a pastel leopard clown ball python and a pastel lesser ball python. By the way, these two bred together, and I've got a clutch of eggs from this girl right now cooking, so it should be pretty cool. But because clowns are in demand, pretty much when you get into the more rare or more complicated mutations of clown, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, they are in higher demand, which really demand a higher value when animals are being sold. So let's go ahead and just jump into some genetics for you here, and I'm going to try not to get too far over your head, but this is a pastel ball python, what they would call a co-dominant mutation, relatively easy to produce. And the reason for that is if I bred a pastel to a normal ball python, about 50% of those babies are going to come out pastel. So you can produce them pretty quickly, right? Literally, you can get a male, get it up to size in 6 or 7 months, and breed it to a normal female and produce pastels literally within a year of buying your pastel animal. So it's relatively quick, which means there's more production, which means there's more supply, which means the demand eventually drops. Not to mention, when you breed two pastels together, it's a 1 in 4 odds that you're going to produce a super pastel. Now with a super pastel, meaning that it is a hyper version of it essentially, when you breed that super pastel to a normal, then everything turns out to be pastel, meaning that those animals are relatively easy to produce in numbers, right? And even though they're beautiful and high demand, the price comes down pretty quickly with a co-dominant mutation. Take for instance this piebald ball python. This is what they call a recessive mutation, which is a little harder to produce than a co-dominant mutation, because if I took a piebald and bred it to a normal, all the babies are going to come out normal looking, but they would be what they call heterozygous, carrying the trait for piebaldism. So it takes 2 generations in order to produce the first piebald, unless you have 2 piebald ball pythons. So obviously those are harder to produce in numbers, and it causes the supply to be a little bit less. And if it's a beautiful snake like a piebald, the demand is pretty high, meaning that even after 20 years of producing piebald ball pythons, they're still like $350 to $700 a piece. I really want to get you guys familiar with the kind of terminology and what we're doing when we start to stack morphs, meaning rarer and rarer animals. And the harder it is to stack the morph, the more rare, the higher the demand, and ultimately, a lot of times, the higher the value on the animals. Take for instance this lavender albino, which again is a recessive mutation. If you were to breed that to that piebald I just showed you, you would get what they call double heterozygous animals, meaning they carry the trait for the lavender and the piebald ball python. Now you would have to raise those up, so again, 2nd generation, and when you breed those together to try to get what they call dreamsicle, which is the lavender piebald ball python, that's a 1 in 16 odds. And with an animal like a ball python that typically lays anywhere from 4 to say high side 10 eggs, again, your odds are it may take you 2 or 3 years to eventually produce a lavender pied, which again means that that's a much more rare animal, meaning that it's harder to find. Ultimately, because it's a beautiful and in high demand animal, it's going to be higher value. I'm sure you guys remember this absolutely gorgeous animal. This is the super Laurie leopard ball python. Now this isn't super hard to produce per se. It's a super of a Laurie ball python, which by the way, we're about to cut a clutch of a Laurie and potentially going to be able to produce another super, not a leopard, but a super, but it is a super Laurie. And then of course the leopard is co-dominant, and this guy is a little machine gun. It's a pistol for sure. Regardless, we're going to cut that clutch and a couple other clutches in a minute, and I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I get a little bit weird about talking about value of animals these days. I really don't like it, but I thought that is something was an interesting topic and you might enjoy it. Let me know in the comments if you guys don't mind, if you guys don't mind me talking about this stuff, or you're enjoying or taking something out. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at some baby colubrids that are hatching, and then we'll go ahead and get back to this conversation. I'll go ahead and put this little monkey back, and again, we'll cut some eggs in a little bit too. Have some really cool colubrids hatch out right now. Take a look at this clutch right here. This is actually a ghost corn here. We've got little snow corn, we've got hypos, albinos, but this was actually bred to a snow coral animal. Really high pink, unbelievably beautiful. So these ghost corns here will turn really pink. These snow corns here will turn uber pink, and then all this other stuff is super cool. So this clutch is going to be amazing when it gets just a little bit of size to it for sure. I tell you what, I love that coral snow stuff and that coral ghost stuff. Ooh, and speaking of it, this is another whole clutch of them. Take a look at this. These are all snow corns that are going to turn super pink when they get some size on them. I love this bloodline. And again, that's just what they call a polygenic trait, which just basically means you breed the most pink animals to the most pink animals. And after several generations of line breeding them for pink, they just turn unbelievably fluorescent pink. Absolutely stunning. And here's actually the first clutch of albino Nelson's milk snake that we produced these years. I absolutely love these guys. Look at that little monkey right there. I think there might be a third one in here somewhere. Not sure where it is. Oh, here it is. I found it. Oh, this is a normal too. Okay, so we got a normal. This was actually a heterozygous, which is like this normal here, and it's actually bred to an albino. So we got two albinos and one little heterozygous animal there. Albino milk snakes are unbelievably beautiful, and the Nelsons are really cool. Probably the most common of the ones for sure. Unbelievable. Oh, and speaking of cool, oh, take a look at this crazy little monkey right here. This, of course, is a T-positive albino Nelson's milk snake. We only had one egg in this bunch, but oh, what are you doing, buddy? What's wrong with you? This guy hatched out on the wrong side of the cage, that's for sure. He's just trying to chew me up. In regards to that T-positive, instead of being red, white, and yellow, the actual color is that purplish color, and he is a feisty little monkey right here. So I'm super happy to have hatched that one, and that's actually what they call allelic. So if you breed a T-positive to an albino, you'll get half the clutch come out T-positive with that purple, and the other half will be like a normal albino. So, okay, that wraps up colubrid babies for the day. Now, when you start to combine high-demand codom animals with high-demand recessive animals, like this pastel lesser clown ball python. You know, the pastel is going to brighten things up. The lesser is going to kind of mute things out in a way, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, the recessive mutation with the clown is in high demand. You start getting more and more interest in it, right? And then you combine that into other mutations of clown, like the pastel leopard clown. And now you talk about the odds of producing a super pastel lesser leopard clown ball pythons might be 1 in 64. Obviously, that is a rare animal, and the supply would be much less, because not a lot of people are producing that animal, and the demand is really high because you've got really cool codom animals, you've got really cool recessive animals, and of course the value goes up. In some cases, a relatively simple combination is still an unbelievably gorgeous animal. This is actually a Mojave GHI, so it's literally just two codominant animals bred together to produce this stunning snake, and the demand is going to be really high on an animal that is this incredible. Now, the price isn't super high because it's relatively easy to produce, you know, maybe $500 or $600, but still a really amazing animal. And at $500 or $600, every time I ever produce these, I put them on the website, they're sold immediately. So the demand is really high. And again, I want to continue to reiterate the fact that I really don't look at these animals as money. You know, I did it for a long time breeding snakes. Now it's kind of a hobby, right? But I wanted to really break down why, for some of you people that might be thinking, why is one snake worth $1,000 or $5,000 in the same exact snake? Because again, they're all just ball pythons with a fancy paint job. It's worth so much. So I hope that that's starting to break in, but these guys are stunning. Now, here's where things get a little bit weird. Not all the time when you have something that's hard to produce and maybe even a little rare, does it mean that it's high value, because maybe the demand is a little low. Not that this is a rare animal, but this is actually a hypo, or what they would call a ghost firefly. So it's a pastel, it's a fire, and it's a ghost. Absolutely stunningly beautiful animal, and relatively hard to produce because it's a recessive hypo or ghost, and then it's two codominant animals on top of it. So it would definitely take some time, you know, sometimes maybe 3, 4, 5 years of working with till you eventually got something like this, and they're really only like $400 or something like that. So what's weird is not all the time is it the rarity and the complexity of producing that causes the value to go up. Again, it's about the demand as well. So you got to have a perfect combination of rarity, difficult to produce, and high demand in order to have that value super high. Now let's take, for instance, these animals here, which is that new gene animal. Remember I told you about? These are actually Cine Enchi new gene animals that are really orange and absolutely gorgeous. gorgeous. So obviously they're extremely rare because these are the only ones, right? And we don't even really know what the genetics are behind it. But by the way, I'm thinking about calling them mangoes. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about that. And I've got to make sure no one else has a mango ball python. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. But if there's no other mango ball pythons, I think mango is a pretty good name. Let me know what you guys think. But the rarity of something when it's a kind of a one-of-a-kind animal and there's no other ones, you know, then you kind of put whatever price tag you think you want on them. Of course, that relates to what the actual demand is. So if people like the mango ball pythons and a bunch of people are like, oh my God, I got to get into the mango gene, if that's what we end up calling them, whoo, double barrel on that one. You know, that just kind of dictates the value. I don't know, they'll maybe be $5,000, maybe they'll be $10,000. I have no idea. Regardless, as we kind of figure this out, and if it is a codominant mutation and has a super that's even more orange, that'll just drive up the value more. So for now, we're going to keep these guys up, raise them up, breed them together, and hopefully produce some crazy stuff here in another couple years. I've got a tour in the house. How are you guys?
Great.
It's great to meet you. Where are you guys from?
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Georgia? What part?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Oh my gosh, we're going there in the next couple days.
Really?
Oh my gosh, that's great. You come to us, we go to you. So that's awesome. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have fun. Let's get started. Let's do it.
Yeah.
With all this talk of these rare and kind of in-demand snakes, I've got a couple clutches to cut right now, including this Laurie to Laurie. So with any luck, we're going to get another blue snake with this super Laurie ball python. And then I've got another clutch as bonkers as well. Let's go ahead and cut these guys. And again, with all this talk of value of animals, super Laurie balls, which are just a double codominant animal, are in high demand because, let's face it, they're a silver and blue snake. So they're not super hard to produce, but they are really in demand. So this egg is actually got a couple little slits in it already. There's no head sticking out, but this one is just getting ready to pip out today. So we'll go ahead and cut it and see what's going on. And hopefully we'll get lucky and get some super Laurie balls. First one is just a Laurie ball python, so no Lauries. Again, the odds are 1 in 4 to get a super Laurie. We have 5 eggs, so theoretically the odds are that we should produce 1. Maybe we'll get lucky and produce more. Regardless, I'm going to move on to egg number 2, and boy, I hope I get some super Lauries in this clutch. I would be really disappointed if I don't. Right off the bat. Oh, wait, I think we might have one. Yes! We hit one! Our first super Laurie ball python! So we got at least one super Laurie ball python in the egg, which is so cool. They are so absolutely adorable. But I can tell you this much. It makes me realize how special that super Laurie Leopard is, because although this is absolutely amazing, that animal was a lot better. So we've got 3 more eggs to go. Maybe we'll get lucky and beat the odds today. Let's see what happens. Oh my God, that is so cool. We got another super Laurie ball python. Okay, this one happens to be, oh, this is actually a normal ball python. So honestly, the odds of producing a normal are about the same as the odds of producing a super. So I wasn't expecting to produce a normal in this, but we did. 2 eggs left to go. Come on, let's do this. Let's get at least 1 more super Laurie ball python. Come on. Oh, nope. Laurie ball python, just a normal Laurie. So 2 Lauries, a super and a normal, 1 egg to go. Come on, guys. You guys know I love to end clutches on high notes. So come on, I know there's going to be a super Laurie in here. I'm just positive of it. Oh, nope, I was wrong. Weirdly enough, just another Laurie ball python. So that's kind of right with the odds, right? We got 3 Lauries, 1 normal, and 1 super. So really, we kind of hit the odds perfectly, but we did get 1 super Laurie ball python that should be out of the egg here in the next few days, and I'll give you guys the update on that. That's pretty awesome. This next clutch is actually a pinstripe to a Cine Cypress. So again, these are all codominant or incomplete dominant genes, but there could be some really cool stuff, you know, so let's just see what happens. This is the dad, by the way, of those purple snakes. I'm not saying I'm going to produce a purple snake in here, but I'm saying I don't really know what I'm going to produce. So let's go ahead, cut into these bad little monkeys here, and just see what kind of jewels we might find. Let's see, and right off the rip, what do we have here? Ooh, it's upside down, so I can't quite see what it is. Come on, roll over, buddy. Show me what you got. Okay, all right, I see what I've got here. This looks like probably a Cine Cypress. That's what it looks like, just a cinnamon cypress, so nothing too crazy. And a couple of these eggs are really small eggs, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what the babies hatch out like, because they're going to be a little bit tiny little suckers, that's for sure. Another one that's rolled over on me here, and I can't see. All these little snakes are rolling over on me. Okay, this just looks like a pinstripe, probably a pinstripe cypress, but nothing too major there. Last 2 eggs. What do we have? Okay, another Cine Cypress ball python. So we haven't hit the Cine Pin Cypress yet, is what I was really hoping to hit. One little tiny, little teeny egg left in this clutch. Let's see what we got. And another pinstripe cypress. So we didn't hit the all gene animal, that's okay. And that kind of goes into the whole odds things too, right? When you start talking about lower dollar animals to higher dollar animals, when you're breeding snakes, is you get the odds, right? Sometimes you crush it and produce something really amazing. Sometimes you kind of produce a bunch of just kind of so-so animals. So that's how this clutch went, and that's just part of snake breeding. And that concludes the egg cutting. Now back to my dissertation on value of animals. So wrapping up the kind of thought process with the $40 ball python worth the $5,000 ball python, it really depends on a bunch of things. It's demand, rarity, how hard it is to produce the animal, but in the end, they're all the same snake, right? That $40 ball python is the exact same ball python as the $5,000+ ball python. It just has a fancy paint job on it. So you have to remember, it's really only worth what people are willing to pay for it, right? If the people want to pay $5,000, then it's worth $5,000. If people want to pay $100, then it's worth $100. Regardless, I just think all snakes are amazing, so I hope that I shine some light on this kind of crazy topic. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed it, I'll do another one. If you guys didn't enjoy it, then I won't do another one. So there it is. This is Honey, by the way, the beautiful pastel piebald ball python. If you enjoyed that versus, there's actually another one right here that is a this versus that, and a whole playlist as well. If you don't mind, also subscribe over here, turn those post notifications on. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you guys tomorrow.